The dysfunctional member of the alcoholic family is back with his first solo project in 13 long years. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Muff. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't. But today, I'm going to be hitting y'all with my thoughts on this new one from Xzibit entitled Kingmaker. So, Mr. X to the Z, Xzibit is a West Coast rap veteran, actor, record exec, and of course, Kingmaker. Now, Xzibit's last solo album, Napalm, had dropped all the way back in 2012. Of course, he had teamed up with Be Real and Demrick for their serial killer projects, but Xzibit has been missing in action on the solo front for a hot minute. But getting right into this new one, Kingmaker, it has been highly anticipated by Xzibit fans for obvious reasons. It's a long one though, at 20 tracks, lasting approximately an hour and 3 minutes. Of course, it is jam-packed with features, definitely too many. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Play This at My Funeral, finds Xzibit setting this reflective tone right out the gate. You have this contemplative boom-bap instrumental with gentle pianos. Xzibit, he's got a lot to say here. He said, good to be back this year. Peace to Raz and Saphir, obviously R.I.P. Saphir. And Xzibit does show some maturity with bars like time to grow the F up, get a job and feed your kids, Kingmaker from the West. If you want to make it here, you better say it with your chest. So overall, a solid opener that does show his knack for introspection. Track 2, Everywhere I Go, has this boisterous West Coast instrumental from Dem Joints. It's definitely a banger. I love the raw signature delivery from Xzibit and just the punchiness to the beat. This feels like the Xzibit we know and love, and easily one of my favorite songs. You gotta love that in-your-face energy from Xzibit. And there's been a long time, part 2, a record that I'm kind of on the fence about. So the production feels like a mashup of something you would get from Dre's Compton and Snoop's Missionary, if you know the vibe. So basically, it's like your everyday aftermath, contemporary aftermath instrumental. Also, I was a bit lukewarm about the hook, but Xzibit is rapping here. Honestly, it's not a bad track at all. I just personally would have loved it to have been sequenced better, maybe later in the project, because it does lower the energy after things started to take off with Everywhere I Go. Next is The Moment with Busta Rhymes and Jason Martin, and I'm not entirely in love with this one either. While the energy is surely there, I still don't really know what to make of Xzibit's sung hook. Something about this track just screams like UFC crowd type energy. That's just the aesthetics. It's not really my cup of tea. I probably wouldn't revisit this one in all honesty, but there are some bars from Xzibit, no doubt. Track 5, however, Earth is Over, is a lot better. I do like the minimalist horn loop, and Xzibit is really rapping. Gotta have the air of the king to rise to the top and pull strings. Also, don't let these hoes build your self-esteem, and he's talking about doing numbers without the machine. So, yeah, he was just really going in, exposing the evils of the world and of the rap game. Following this is the high point, Leave Me Alone with Dr. Dre and Ty Dolla $ign. And here you have this hard-hitting organ-backed instrumental from both Dre and Swizz. This one is a banger that fans of Dre and X collaborations together would likely enjoy. And Ty Dolla $ign came through on the hook as well. I'd say objectively, it's like probably the best song on the album. Immediately after is Belly of the Beast featuring Jason Martin again. And this is no shade to Jason Martin, but did we really need Jason Martin twice? I mean, isn't it enough that he's already appeared on every West Coast album since 2024? But you do get some funky horns and just an overall psychedelic flair to the production that wasn't bad. I still think this could have been an Xzibit solo track, but if you needed a feature, why not someone from the Alcoholics or even Defara? I think it would have been better suited for him to tap into that Liquid Crew energy, in my opinion. Following that is History, a conceptual track where Xzibit gets super lyrical over this reggae-like vocal sample. As a whole, it's a solid enough instrumental. He is name dropping some rap titans as well. Xzibit says, "You ain't never walk with the apes. I don't recommend it. This for the hip hop heavyweights. Big pun intended. In my humble opinion, y'all left the culture unattended. A lot of dudes buying streams. Shit was bad for business." Then there's Genesis, and you have Xzibit doing a double time flow, really gliding over this wavy, bouncy instrumental. He said, "F a record deal. I want my logo on the building." So yeah, he was getting lyrical over the smooth, bouncy production, which I thought was a nice touch. Track 10 is Perfect Alibi featuring Stallone. Here you have a psychedelic pop-like beat from Dem Joints that I was also somewhat half-hearted about. The hook really didn't do it for me either, but the bars were definitely there. Xzibit said, "I feel like I've been drinking at the youth fountain, fighting the power like Chuck D, Huey, and Malcolm." I don't know. Perhaps this track will grow on me. Then there's American Idols featuring Simba, and it's a standout. You were getting some dope social commentary from the two over this syrupy soul production. Xzibit said, "Don't let them kill your dreams like Martin at the Lorraine." And Simba came through with a fire verse. Yeah, I really like the homage that was paid to Nipsey here. You're getting some food for thought. Then there's another highlight, Crash, with Royce the 5'9" and Khan. All of them are getting busy over this bright, clamorous jazz rap beat that did give off some slight Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly vibes. But yeah, the flow was nostalgic. It's a bar fest with a message. Khan killed the hook, and Royce the 5'9" Xzibit definitely did their thing. Then there's For the Love featuring Ice Cube, which samples Mobb Deep's Quiet Storm or the bass line for White Lines. Really an instrumental that you can't miss with, although it has been overused. Xzibit does repurpose a portion of Inspected Deck's Cream verse, paying a little homage there. This one wasn't bad, but I don't think Ice Cube's verse fit with the theme. It kind of seemed just like a random Cube feature. Then there is Shut Your Mouth with Compton Ave and Butch Cassidy, and this has a silky smooth G-Funk feel, perfect for the soon-to-be summertime vibes. DJ Battle Cat and Xzibit is always a plus. Really, you can't go wrong with a record like this. Something that you would expect on a new Xzibit album. In fact, track 15, Higher, produced by Focus, is a fun, zany stoner anthem with Redman and Be Real. Yeah, it's just a fun, high-energy track that I really had no issues with. Track 16, Success, produced by will.i.am, is a spoken word piece over an attractive jazz rap beat, sampling Rakim's Know the Ledge, of course. This does have an early 90s energy about it. Now, it's not an actual rapping song, more like a spoken word interlude, but I thought it still came across as something fresh and different. Track 17, Notified, is kind of a highlight, although it didn't feature a verse from Xzibit, which is kind of wild since he's not featured enough on here anyway. But you do get a grimy rap rock instrumental from Beat Butcher and features from King T and Cole 187. And King T, he stole the show. Track 18, What You Like, features Guap, Dad 4000, and Dago Fats. I did somewhat enjoy the bouncy DJ Khalil instrumental and Xzibit's flow, but the features honestly didn't do a whole lot for me. The second to last track, End of Day, features Trey Capital and Domo Genesis. Both of these gentlemen are rapping well, and the instrumental is not bad at all, but I was kind of exhausted from the feature presence at this point. But the project ends on a strong note with Kingmaker, and you will be able to recognize that Outkast ATLian sample, which makes it pop, and it definitely is my favorite instrumental and one of my favorite tracks on the project. So overall, it was a bit of a challenge to give this a rating. I kind of went back and forth over this, but I would probably give this a strong 3.5 mics. Despite some of the issues I mentioned, I still feel it's a solid return album for Xzibit. It does display, rapping wise, that he hasn't lost a step whatsoever. I mean, the bars and flows were all intact. Vocally, that's where Xzibit really excelled. And, I have to emphasize his growth, his humility, and maturity as well as some of the themes. That being said, the album was bogged down with too many features, and it had a bloated track list that could have been trimmed down just a bit because it did feel like a compilation a lot as a result, and it also seemed like Xzibit was a feature on his own album. Now, with respect to the instrumentals, the production was solid. It might not have had some of the most attractive beats that Xzibit has rapped on his past albums, but the instrumentals were certainly doable. Perhaps some of it will grow on me, but the album did have its highs, and I did like the hunger and urgency to which Xzibit was rapping. But the missteps and the overabundance of features did bring my rating down a bit. My favorite tracks include Everywhere I Go, Earth Is Over, Leave Me Alone, Genesis, American Idols, Crash, Shut Your Mouth, Success, Higher, Notified, and Kingmaker. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Xzibit, Kingmaker.